And Sarah, with GOPIF, the director, another department that was established by Governor Mills early on to kind of create the framework and to get outcomes. So, Sarah, how are things going, and where do we go from here?
Great. Well, good morning, and thank you so much for having me. It's really nice to see you all today. My name is Sarah Curran. I am Director of the Governor's Office of Policy, Innovation, and the Future. And GOPIF works on some of the more complex policy challenges facing the state of Maine, like how to increase the supply of affordable housing, how the state should prepare for the rapid transformations of AI, and importantly, and what I'll focus on today, is how the state can both prepare for the impacts of climate change and reduce emissions to try and reduce those impacts that we're already experiencing. GOPIF's role is to advise the governor on these and other key areas by bringing together state agencies, stakeholders, and the public to work together on innovative policy solutions. And specific to climate, GOPIF staffs and supports the Maine Climate Council, including the development of and implementation of Maine Won't Wait, which is the state's climate action plan, and I serve as co-chair of the Maine Climate Council. Selena did a great job covering energy and innovation, and so today I'm going to focus on the ways that climate resilience impacts both the economic and community development in Eastern Maine, and highlight some of the programs that your region can leverage as you plan the state's or the region's economic development strategy for the next 5 years. So Selena, if you would, next slide, please. So climate change is already impacting people's lives, health and safety, and livelihoods in Maine. The Scientific and Technical Subcommittee of the Maine Climate Council tracks the latest science on climate impacts, and their most recent report affirms that most indicators of a changing climate are accelerating around the world and in Maine. In Maine, the climate is getting warmer and wetter with more extremes in temperature and in precipitation. We are seeing more intense storms. And next slide, please, Selena. These photos are from the historically severe storms in December 2023 and January 2024 that resulted in catastrophic inland flooding and coastal flooding, causing millions of dollars in damage and claiming 4 lives. And events like these have shown us that our infrastructure and our communities are increasingly vulnerable to climate change. Next slide, please, Selena. Thanks. In the last 7 years, under the leadership of Governor Mills, the state has made significant progress on climate change, both preparing for impacts and reducing emissions. As Selena mentioned, we've seen more than half the energy Maine uses is clean and renewable. We've installed more than 200,000 heat pumps that help people save money, reduce emissions, and importantly, keep them cool in increasingly hotter summers. We've invested millions of dollars in resilient infrastructure, from culverts and roads to working waterfronts. And Maine has conserved 22% of lands, natural and working lands, which are important to both our climate goals and to our farming, forestry, and outdoor recreation industries. I want to highlight a couple of specific initiatives as you think about the region's economic development priorities for the next 5 years. And next slide, please. The Community Resilience Partnership provides grants and technical assistance to aid communities to reduce their emissions, to transition to clean energy, and to become more resilient to climate effects such as extreme weather and flooding. The partnership awards grants of up to $75,000 for individual communities and $175,000 for multi-community proposals. Because the funds from this program come from the state budget, it can be used to match federal grants for larger projects, a practice we highly encourage. And communities across the state are identifying risks posed by climate hazards to infrastructure, people, and ecosystems, preparing for climate impacts to roads and other infrastructure. We've seen grants that support other local actions to reduce emissions and save taxpayer dollars, such as heat pump installation for energy efficiency, cooling and heating, lighting upgrades, electric vehicle charging infrastructure, and energy efficiency upgrades. And so importantly, in addition to these no-match grants, communities in the partnership also have access to regional coordinators like EMDC, who can help with developing and implementing resilience and energy projects. And the partnership now has approximately 300 participating communities and has awarded more than $18 million in funds to communities for climate and resilience projects. We'd love to see more communities from Eastern Maine participate. And next slide, please, Selena. There is a current funding opportunity open through the partnership that I wanted to make sure that you were all aware of. Grant 7 rounds includes funding from both the state budget as well as from the state's NOAA Climate Resilience Grant. And there's also specifically a nature-based technical assistance opportunity for nature-based resilience solutions. So those grant rounds are currently open and wanted to make sure that you all were aware of those. Next slide, please. I also wanted to mention the Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund, which has invested more than $46 million in resilient infrastructure across the state. A resilient infrastructure network with roads, bridges, and culverts that are ready for extreme events and storm surges makes travel safer for all Maine riders and drivers, and also helps ensure that emergency services can reach communities when they're needed most. So projects through this program have included upgrades to stormwater, wastewater, and drinking water systems, and the most recent grant round focused on working waterfront infrastructure. Continued investment is vital for making Maine communities resilient to climate change impacts, and a new round of funding is currently open. Next slide, please. So again, these are grant opportunities available to support local infrastructure projects and make them more resilient to climate impacts like flooding. And there's a QR code. I think Lee mentioned that he's going to distribute these slides afterwards. So there's a QR code here on the slide if folks want to go directly to that funding opportunity. Next slide, please. I also want to highlight the new Maine Office of Community Affairs. This was established as a one-stop shop for communities to access planning, technical assistance, and resources from state government. The office brought together programs around land use, climate resilience, flooding, housing, and building codes. And the idea was that bringing these programs, which had been located in different state agencies, bringing them together in one office makes it easier for communities to find them and to improve the outcomes that you're seeking. So since its launch more than a year ago, MOCA has increased coordination across state programs, it's improved access for communities, and it recently launched a funding finder for communities to help them find grants for funding local projects. Next slide, please. So this funding finder is a tool that can help you identify funding opportunities for local projects. So wanted to make sure to highlight that for you here as well. I think that's a really exciting new tool for MOCA to be offering. And then lastly, next slide, please, I want to mention the new State Resilience Office. So MOCA also includes the State Resilience Office, which was established under LD1, bipartisan legislation that passed last year to improve emergency response and better prepare communities and infrastructure for severe weather following those significant storms in the winter of 23 and 24. The State Resilience Office houses the Community Resilience Partnership, the grant program I was mentioning, as well as the state's floodplain management program. With funding from the state's $69 million climate resilience grant from NOAA, the State Resilience Office has invested in a network of regional coordinators at every regional planning organization in the state to help communities implement resilience projects, and will also soon be adding regional floodplain managers. With funding from both LD1 and the NOAA grant, the State Resilience Office will be working to update flood maps and to launch flood risk tools for communities to help them better understand and take action to reduce risk from flooding. So in closing, as you think about the economic plan for the Eastern region for the next 5 years, I wanted to highlight the opportunities for communities to partner with the state to continue to invest in climate resilience. These are strategies that also are economic and community development investments. And so whether it's making roads and bridges more resilient so that people as well as goods and services can travel safely, or improving water systems that also support vibrant downtowns and affordable housing, I think there's an opportunity to continue to invest in climate strategies that benefit Maine people. So thank you very much for having me today.
Thank you, Sarah. And Sarah's been there from the start. And I think part of the success of GOPIF has been because of you, Sarah, keeping that connection from programs at the state level to community level and making it accessible and understandable. And you've been very good about being a champion for for communities. So
Well,
thank you.
thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. We're really excited about the partnerships we've been able to build with communities and with regions around this work. And I'm thrilled about the new Maine Office of Community Affairs. I think that's a huge step forward for the state. So I hope you all continue to partner with us to work together
Yes.
on these issues.
You know, it's really a good example why government's good, because it's becoming accessible for people and
Yeah.
having people understand that government can work on their behalf. So I like it a lot.
Thank you very much.
All right, Sarah, thank you.
Great to see you.